Hello, welcome to In the Chair with Imogene Nix. I'm your hostess, Imogene. I'm a multi-published author, both here and the USA and UK. Now, I hope you're really excited to be here because I'm really pleased to bring you today's lineup. We have got first up the luscious Sass Lewis, and she's wonderful. Spoke to her the other day, and so we have an interview with her. Next up, we've got the review of Efthalia's Phantasma, the first book in her series. We've also got a fantastic prize pack, and I'll tell you more about that in a moment. Then lastly, we have the trailer, Cassandra Elshaw's Twin Flames. Keep watching. Okay, so the other day I was down in Brisbane. I had the opportunity to catch up with my really good friend Sass. Here's our interview. Hi everybody, I'm here with my very good friend Sassy. How are you today?
I'm fantastic, Imogene. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Okay, so I've got a couple of quick questions for you. Are you all ready? Mm-hmm. Just sort of, jiggle into position. You've been writing romance for...
Now I'm ready.
Okay, all right. So you've been writing romance for a little while. Yep. What was it that drew you to the romance genre?
I love reading it. I always have... Actually, no, that's a lie. I started reading suspense and horror, good old Stephen King and Jeffrey Deaver and stuff like that. But I did, after having kids, I got into reading romance and particularly erotic romance. Kids, sex life goes down the drain. There's no moment spare. There's a kid always attached to my boob. So it was just an outlet, something to do. I hate TV, so reading was what I do. And my dad actually said to me, "You read so much, why don't you start writing reviews? You'll make money." Okay, scratched my head at that one because as we know, we don't make money from writing reviews. And I thought, oh, take it one better, I'll start writing. And that's what I did. So I started writing, and I have a few that I never finished when I first started writing that are still sitting on a laptop somewhere. I'd have to find the laptop, but...
That wouldn't happen to be the second book in the series that I saw way early on?
No. That would just be that I have them written everywhere. I have my little messy desk over there that has notebook after notebook that has half-finished stories in it that my muse just goes, no, I don't want to write anymore. Yeah. Do something else. And I'm not one to force a story, so if it stops talking to me, I stop writing it until it starts talking again.
Well, that brings us on to the next thing. What are you actually working on at the moment?
See, Sassy's had a bit of a tanty.
Aha.
And she's not writing anymore. I'm giving erotic romance a break. I'm still writing Lewis and Rose stuff, so Wilson and I are putting out some short stories. They're fantastic. 2 went out last week. You really should read them. It's like nothing you've read before. They're not your standard book. They're not a story. They're a scene. Stolen moments. They are a scene. They're intimate. They're raw. We hope people get drawn into them.
I have to say, I've had a sneak peek and I really like them.
Thank you.
So, now, you're known for your hot and steamy scenes, but one of the questions that we were asked is, how much of this comes from real life?
With anything, I'd say it's probably 50% of it comes from real life. I've been with my husband for 21 years. Got a lot of experience going in between the two of us. But it's imagination. As anything, you don't want to read about the fact that I went to the toilet or I brushed my teeth and this is what I did with my husband. You want to read something nitty and gritty, and part of writing is also me getting lost in the characters, and the characters for most authors, I believe, guess it's the same for you, they become real people. For the time that you're writing them, they are their own entity. They are the person telling the story, not so much me as an author. So they're not, that character's not going to tell you my experience. No. They're telling you their experiences.
So does that mean that you're not necessarily practicing all your scenes?
Hell, I will come up with a scene and I'll go to my husband, well, really I've got to try something. Can we try this? This works for me. Or it could be just after the fact I go, thanks, babe, you just inspired a scene.
What do you think at the moment are the biggest issues that face not just romance writers but any writers?
I'm going to be a bitch.
Okay.
I'm going to say the flood of crap. The flood of crap that's coming out. And I know that's sad for me to say, and I do appreciate any author that puts their time and effort into it, but just as the same as I can put time and effort into playing the drums, doesn't mean I'm any good at it. And it's the same with writing. There's quite a few people out there that are putting books out, and they're flooding the market with unedited work that has potential, and it does, or any story really does have potential. I haven't yet to come across a book that doesn't have that potential, but it's that they're not putting that extra step in it. It's not a matter of you just writing it, sticking it out there. It's doing the research, knowing the field. I'm English people, basic English. We were discussing this earlier. Things like your M dashes, N dashes, hyphens, big words, brackets, bold. I'm so sick of seeing uppercased words. They're not text messages, they're novels. And unfortunately, it's becoming the trend that as writers, we see this so frequently that it's just the norm. And it's not the norm. It might be acceptable, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not the thing to be done. And unless people start breaking that habit and putting the time and effort back into literature, unfortunately, the future is just not looking very bright.
If you had to give one piece of advice, not to an aspiring author, but to an emerging or an established author, what would it be?
Get tough skin. That is the crust of it. If you can't handle me saying what I've just said about the fact that there's crap going out there, you can't handle someone ripping your work apart and making you rock in a corner. Imogene did this to me on my first published novel. She was my Cretan Vita reader, and she was fantastic. To the point though, I was crying. There were certain parts where she just said to me, nope, 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 and I sat there and I rocked and I cried, but hell, the book got picked up by a publisher and I never turn back now. If you can't do that though, if you can't take bad criticism instead of just a constant, it's fantastic, and I can tell you now there are people out there, thousands of people out there that'll just go to you, it's fantastic, when it's not, then don't get into the industry. Don't get into writing. It is hard to open up your review page and see a 1-star review, and some of them are just funny. Some of the comments that people will come up with in a review are just hilarious. But there's ones that if you're one of those that can take criticism, it makes you sit back and think, they're actually right. I need to improve on that. And yeah, so that's my big advice. Just be able to take criticism and actually work with it. Don't just go, whatever, you know nothing. And that you don't need to be a best-selling author to be a good writer. There's thousands of writers that I know personally that we've never made the best-selling list, but are fantastic writers. And there's 50% of those on the best-selling list that I pick up their book and I sit there and I go, okay, this is good.
Now, where can we find you?
Me? Everywhere. Facey, the good old Facey book. Amazon, of course. I have a Twitter account. I do. I use it, I think. I might have it all linked. I've got Instagram.
Yeah.
I forget about that one.
Website?
No. I don't have a website anymore. I one of those, I had to pay for the domain and I just couldn't justify the expense of paying for the domain again. So, but I do run a indie newsletter and I've just finished setting up the website for that. So Sizzle and all indie authors are welcome to contact me and get put in our newsletter, just because I started it because I don't have enough information to send out a newsletter every month, let alone every fortnight. And so combining a whole industry basically, and you've got something to go out to the readers, information, exciting stuff.
Well, thank you very much for your time. It's been an absolute blast. It's always good fun to catch up.
It is. Thank you, darling. Thank you for letting me chop your cherry? How about pop your cherry? We'll go with popping your
Yeah,
cherry.
you pop my cherry. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up is my review of Efthalia's Phantasma, and here's the cover. Hi everyone, as today is the very first In the Chair review, I'm actually going to front it just for something a little bit different. Today I'm actually going to be reviewing Phantasma by Efthalia. It is the first in a new series. There are a few bewares. There is violence and there is supernatural themes. So if you're going to get upset by that, I would recommend probably not sticking, your nose into this book. It is mythologically based though. So if you're looking for something a little bit different in terms of supernatural themes, there you go. Now, the book is essentially about Carissa, and she's the daughter of a god, and she's living in the mortal realm. She doesn't actually know she is the daughter of a god, though. She is working as a police officer in America, so just to set the scene. Everything's pretty swimming until it goes really wrong at a warehouse, and her partner is injured and is almost dead. This is where she comes face to face with the main male character, Zen, who's an immortal vampire, and he has a very large sword. Take that how you will. Now, the demons are after her, and her attraction to Zen is totally messing with her mind. I was attracted to the title for two main reasons. The first one is that cover, and I have to say that is a to die for cover, and there is so much, the intricacies and the detail on them are amazing. The other thing is I've actually been waiting for this book for a really long time, like it must be getting close on 5 years, so I had a lot invested in this story. My favourite character, I'm actually going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say it was Gumbo. Now, Tithon is introduced about halfway through the story. He's quite integral to the story and to Carissa's growth. And if I tell you much more, it gives a lot away. The worst character for my mind is Hal. Now, he's so bad that he's really awful, and he's a really well-rounded character actually, and the reason I say he's the worst character is he's the character I hated the most in the story. We get all of his backstory, we know how he connects to Carissa, and his absolute awfulness reaches its pinnacle towards the end of the story. The best worst scene, and there's actually two of them for me. One of these gives away a whole chunk of the storyline, so I really won't go into that one. But the other one I'll tell you about is the scene at the warehouse, where Carissa and Zen actually meet for the very first time. And I found the fight scenes felt really authentic in the way they were written. The meeting between the characters isn't perfection, it isn't gorgeous, and it strikes a chord because that's, fairly close to reality. Summing it up, while Carissa has a lot of growing up to do throughout the story, and she does, I get the feeling that she's going to become a much stronger character throughout the overarching story arc. We really do get a glimpse of it right at the very end of the book. There are a couple of odd little niggles, as in with any other book. However, having said that, it is a first story. The beginning of a very intriguing story arc, which I'm really looking forward to. I can't wait to see what comes out next in this story, and I would recommend that you take a chance on this book. I think it's only going to get bigger and bolder, and my rating on this is 4 stars. I did, however, receive a copy of this book in return for an honest review. Okay, so this is the time where I get to tell you about all the fantastic prizes that we've got. Now, I'm not going to enumerate them because there's lots, but what I am going to say is how to enter. All you need to do is go to www.imogenenix.net. You need to look at the top and find the blog link called The Blog, really imaginative name there, and then episode 1. Episode 1 has the blog has the embedded Rafflecopter link. It tells you exactly what you need to do to enter. And I really hope that you win. Keep staying tuned. Okay, so here we are getting towards the end of the episode. We've got Cassandra Elshaw's Twin Flames trailer. I hope you enjoy it. Now, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I've had an absolute scream bringing it to you. Remember to stay tuned. Go subscribe to this YouTube channel so you don't miss the next episode, which will be here in 2 weeks. And I have an awesome lineup for that one too. So I'll see you next time. See you from Imogene.